Thank you for attending my PowerPoint presentation about who gonna win the Champions League between PSG against Arsenal. Welcome to the near-no UCL history derby. Welcome everyone to what the normal fans are calling the near-no UCL history derby. It's a bit of a poetic irony, isn't it? We have two giants of European football, both with massive fan bases, global reach, and until very recently, a trophy cabinet that looked suspiciously empty whenever the Champions League anthem started playing. It's a clash of cultures, a clash of bank accounts, and a clash of two fan bases who have spent years explaining to their friends why this is finally the year. On one side, we have PSG. For the starter, their strategy was simple: spend the GDP of a small nation on superstars, dominate League One, and then have a collective existential crisis in the round of 16. But miracles do happen. After years of heartbreak, they finally broke the curse and lifted that trophy last year. They finally got the big-eared cup, but let's be honest. That trophy cabinet is still mostly crowded by French league titles that feel a bit like they were ordered off Amazon Prime with next-day delivery. Then you've got Arsenal. The Gunners are back in the spotlight, stepping onto the pitch for their first Champions League final since 2006. It's been a long, winding road through the wilderness, filled with trust the process slogans and a lot of emotional baggage. After winning the Premier League this year, they want to make sure they win the Champions League too. They are absolutely desperate to get their hands on a trophy that never in their hand before. For Arsenal, this isn't just about winning a match. It's about proving that they've finally moved past the what could have been era and are ready to sit at the high table of European royalty. So here we are. It's the battle of the infinite oil money versus the team that used to be legendary in the 2000s. One club is trying to prove their dynasty isn't just a one-hit wonder, and the other is trying to prove they aren't just a nostalgia act. Whether you're here for the tactical genius or just to see which club finally puts their UCL trauma to bed, you're in for a hell of a ride. Let's dive into who actually has the edge tonight. Battle of the Manager. Now let's talk about the real main event, the technical areas. We aren't just looking at 11 players on the pitch, we're looking at the psychological warfare happening on the sidelines. In one corner, we have a man who probably yells at his toaster for not meeting his required standards. In the other, we have a 50-year-old Twitch streamer who thrives on pure, unadulterated chaos. It's the ultimate contrast in management styles. Let's start with Mikel Arteta. The man is a walking, breathing manifesto on the process. He's the only manager in world football who treats a standard corner kick like it's a mission to land a rover on Mars. With that Lego hair that literally never moves, not even in a gale force wind, he's obsessed with passion and intensity. Remember when he hired professional pickpockets to steal from his players at dinner just to keep them alert? That's not a manager, that's a guy who's watched one too many Mission Impossible movies and decided he could do it better. Then there's Luis Enrique. If Arteta is a high-strung tactical genius, Enrique is the chaotic gaming dad of the PSG locker room. This is a guy who decides to hop on a bike and climb a mountain for fun just to clear his head, and then comes back to stream his entire tactical breakdown on Twitch. He's the manager who doesn't care about your feelings, your fantasy team, or your favorite superstar player. If you aren't running hard enough, he will bench you in a heartbeat, not because he has to, but because he just wants to see what happens when he hits the reset button on the entire team. It's truly a sight to behold. You've got the guy who wants to control every single molecule of air in the stadium, and the guy who seems to be running his team based on whatever vibe he got after his morning cycling session. Watching these two go head-to-head is like watching an intense, high-stakes game of chess, except one player is reading a manual and the other is just flipping the board over for the fun of it. Buckle up, because the sideline antics today might actually be more entertaining than the game itself. The midfield, Golden Retriever versus Chess Grandmaster. Now we have to look at the engine room. This is where the match is won or lost, and today it's a total personality clash. It's a battle between a guy who plays like he's fueled by black coffee and 100 million pound hype, and a guy who looks like he's playing in slow motion but still somehow beats you every single time. It's the ultimate Golden Retriever versus Chess Grandmaster showdown. First up, there's Declan Rice. If there were a stat for happiest man on the pitch, Rice would be the Ballon d'Or winner. Watching him play is honestly exhausting. He covers about 15 kilometers a game with the pure, unadulterated energy of a golden retriever who just spotted a tennis ball in a park. He's everywhere, tackling anything that moves, and he does it all with a massive grin on his face. You get the sense that even if you were playing against him in the supermarket, he'd still be sprinting to clear your grocery bag before you reached the checkout. On the flip side, you have PSG's Vitinha, who is essentially the human embodiment of a do not disturb sign. While Rice is running a marathon, Vitinha looks like he's casually reading a book in the middle of a hurricane. He is so unnervingly calm and press-resistant that it's actually kind of annoying for his opponents. It's like he's playing the game in a different time zone where everything is just a little bit slower and much easier for him to solve. He doesn't need to break a sweat, he just drops a pass into a gap you didn't even know existed. So the big question is, which force is stronger? Can Rice's high-octane run fast and win the ball back strategy actually shut down the guy who seems to have a literal PhD in passing? It's the classic unstoppable energy against the immovable object of pure footballing IQ. Either Rice is going to hunt him down and turn the midfield into a chaotic mess, or Vitinha is going to play around him so smoothly you'll forget the ball was ever in danger. The Speed Demons and the Hospital Bills. Next up, we've got the Speed Demons, or as I like to call them, the Emergency Room Platinum member. This match is going to feature some of the fastest wingers on the planet. The only problem is that watching them play is a total coin flip. Half the time they're going to pull off a world-class solo goal that leaves the crowd in silence, and the other half, they're probably going to pull a hamstring just trying to execute a basic step over. On the PSG side, we have Ousmane Dembélé, the absolute king of chaos. Dembélé is the footballing equivalent of a glitch in the simulation. He'll dribble past 5 world-class defenders looking like prime Lionel Messi, only to then shank the final cross directly into the stadium parking lot. He's brilliant, he's unpredictable, and he's basically got a VIP season pass to the local hospital's orthopedic wing. Beside him, we've got Kvaratskhelia Kvaratskhelia, the guy whose name most of us still have to copy-paste into Google just to get the spelling right. He doesn't do complex tricks, he just runs at defenders until they're so confused they essentially just fall over. Then there's Arsenal's dynamic duo. Bukayo Saka is the undisputed golden boy of England, carrying the hopes, dreams, and immense expectations of North London on his back every single week. He's the steady, reliable heartbeat of that attack. And then there's Gabriel Martinelli, who is essentially a Brazilian blur that just flat out forgot how to slow down. The kid has one speed, and that speed is faster than you. It's going to be a total track meet out there. Whether it's a moment of pure magic or a moment where you're just holding your breath praying no one tears an ACL, these guys are going to be the ones deciding if this final is a tactical masterpiece or a complete whirlwind of highlight reel madness. Just don't be surprised if the highlight of the match isn't a goal, but someone sprinting so fast they accidentally end up in the manager's technical area. Who is more likely to bottle it? Now we have to address the elephant, or should I say the empty trophy cabinet in the room. Both of these teams have at various points in their history earned PhDs in the art of disappointing their own fans. We're talking about two clubs that have mastered the "how did we actually lose that" moment. The question for tonight isn't just who is the better football team, it's who will panic first the second the referee blows that final whistle. Let's look at the PSG curse. Historically, PSG is the gold standard for European what-if scenarios. We've seen them lead 4-0 in a tie only to somehow end up losing 6-1 in the return leg. Even though they finally broke through and hoisted the trophy last year, you can't help but feel like that old, classic European collapse DNA is still lurking somewhere in the background. It's like a haunted house. They've cleaned the place up, but the ghosts of Champions League past are definitely still hiding in the attic, waiting for a misplaced pass or a shaky goalkeeper to start the drama all over again. Then there's the Arsenal DNA. For years, the narrative was that they were the masters of trusting the process, only to watch it crumble because of a random, inexplicable red card or a defensive disaster class that defies logic. While they've just finished a massive season winning the Premier League and effectively killing the bottler nickname, honestly, they've been popping enough actual champagne bottles to change the definition. The Champions League is a different animal. Can they keep that newfound composure when the lights are this bright, or will the old habits of a what could go wrong moment sneak back in? At the end of the day, both teams are carrying a lot of history on their shoulders. PSG is trying to prove last year wasn't a one-off fluke, and Arsenal is trying to show the world that they've finally moved past their reputation for folding under pressure. It's going to be a tense 90 minutes, or maybe 120 if we're really unlucky. If you're a fan of either side, I'd suggest keeping a stress ball, a paper bag for hyperventilating, and maybe a stiff drink nearby. The absolute guess, the prediction. Finally, we get to the part everyone's been waiting for, the absolutely reckless zero-guarantee prediction. The stage is set in Budapest, and whether you're a diehard Gooner or a Parisian faithful, we can all agree on one thing. No matter who hoists that trophy, football Twitter is going to be an absolutely nuclear wasteland of toxicity by Sunday morning. The memes will be brutal, the "I told you so" posts will be endless, and honestly, we wouldn't have it any other way. If PSG manages to go back-to-back, we're definitely getting an 8-hour, unedited Twitch livestream from Luis Enrique. Picture it, he'll be wearing the winner's medal, eating a snack, and completely refusing to answer any tactical questions, choosing instead to talk for 3 hours about his favorite mountain bike route in the Pyrenees. It would be the most Enrique way to celebrate a European dynasty. On the other hand, if Arsenal pulls it off, the scenes are going to be historic. Mikel Arteta will finally crack the smallest, most intense smile you've ever seen, and miraculously not a single hair on his head will move even while he's being mobbed by the entire bench. As for the fans, well, they've already had a massive year, and if they add a Champions League title, it's going to be everyone else's problem on social media for the next 5 years. You won't be able to log in without seeing a North London Forever compilation. So who's taking it home? I'm going with a completely ridiculous pick, Arsenal. Why? Because I have a sneaking suspicion that Ben White, who is supposedly out with an injury, will just decide he's bored of the rehab facility, walk onto the pitch in the 85th minute, tackle someone, and then leave immediately because he wants to get back to his summer vacation on the beach. It's the kind of chaos that feels destined for a night like this. Grab your popcorn, folks. It's going to be a long, glorious, and probably ridiculous night in Budapest.